Hello everybody and welcome to the homework helper for statistics 9.3. Let's go ahead and go into the ready section. The first part is using probability to predict from a sample. So we're going to be given a two-way table, and using that we need to be able to adjust the probabilities and figure out how everything works from there. So the very first one we have at South Beach High School, there are 2,500 students attending. Mariana surveyed 40 of her friends where they prefer to eat lunch, and then created the following two-way table to show the results. So here's all of that. So we're going to be using this as our source to answer the questions. She wants to use her data to answer the following questions. Do students prefer to eat on campus or off campus? And is there a difference between grade levels in those preferences? So this is going to be kind of a review of our probability unit. But in Mariana's sample, what percent of students prefer school lunch? What percent prefer to eat off campus? So we're looking at the overall. So off campus was 12, overall was 40, okay? So this is the probability of off campus. Probability, and that's an O, not a 0. Off campus, 12 out of 40. Then we're going to be doing conditional statements for each grade level to determine the percentage of students that prefer school lunch and the percent that prefer off campus. So now we're going to be focusing just on 9th grade. So we'll have a 9th grade, ninth. And then we'll do the percentage. This would be for let me scoop this up. For cafeteria, right, it would be 18 out of 20, find that as a percent. For off campus, that'd be 2 out of 20, find that as a percent. For 10th grade, 6 out of 20, or 6 out of 10, my bad. 4 out of 10. For 11th, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, etc. And so what you'll do is you'll take these fractions and then you'll convert them into percentages to answer these questions. And then, do you notice anything unusual? This is going to be on you to notice what the patterns are, and if anything is significantly different in between grade levels. All right. And then question number 3 asks you to make a judgment statement based on that to make sure that you're making sense of what's being asked. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the sets portion where we'll be exploring z-scores. And z-scores are the relation to the mean based on the sigma. So a company makes a mean monthly income of $20,300 and a standard deviation of 3,000. In one given month, the company makes $29,500. So we need to be able to find the z-score. And this goes back to our in-class portion. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. So when we use a scale, we give things a z-score. And then the z-score is a z-score of 1 means that it's 1 standard deviation above the mean. A z-score of negative 1.3 means that it's between 1 and 2 standard deviations below the mean. So this is easy peasy. So to find the z-score, it's just looking at what the standard deviation is. So a z-score of 1 would be 3,200 above. So that would be 3,200 plus the 20,300, which would be 23,500. So 23,500 would be a 1 z-score. Score of 1 would be 23,500. So when we're looking at something like 29,500, where would that be on the z-score? So that would be, so if 1 z-score was this, 2 z-scores, 2z would be 26,700, 3 z-scores would be 29,900. Okay, so we can see that the 29,500, we would see that this is between 2 and 3 z-scores. Now to get precisely where it's at, we're going to need a calculator, okay? Because to figure out precisely where it's at, what we see here is if it's making 29,500 and we're trying to see how far between the second and the third. So we need to look at the difference between here. And the difference between here is just our standard deviation. Our standard deviation is 3,200. So what we need to do is we need to look at how far above the second z-score this is. So this is the second z-score, right? So if I do 29,500 and I subtract that second z-score, our second standard deviation, I see that I'm at 28,000 or 2,800. So it's $2,800 above the second z-score. So if I do 2,800 divided by our standard deviation, I will get a decimal of 0.875. That means I'm 0.875 away to the next z-score. So that means the z-score of this value is going to be 2.875 because it's 2.875 standard deviations above the mean. Okay. So from that, you'll be able to calculate the rest of these. You'll be able to answer the following question. As soon as the company mother what percentage of the time does the company make more than this amount, less than this amount? So if we're at 2.87 times above, we're gonna look at that on our standard deviation, right? So this is our mean, 1 sigma, 2 sigmas. So it's gonna fall whatever is above 2 sigmas. Refer to your standard deviation chart of a normal distribution to figure out what that is. Okay, and we'll be able to go from there. Similar question for this one. And then I believe that is that. So this is gonna be a little bit more challenging. Work at it and we'll come together and discuss the details of it next time I see you.